every night it was the same ritual. A long day at work, a quiet dinner, and then this standing before the antique mirror in the hallway, the one I'd found at a dusty little shop downtown. It was tall and ornate, with a heavy dark wood frame carved with twisting vines. The silvering was faded in places, creating cloudy little whirlpools where the world seemed to warp. I'd look into it, really look, taking stock of the day's wear and tear, the new lines around my eyes, the slump in my shoulders. My reflection always looked as tired as I felt. It was a somber, silent communion between me and, well, me. Tonight was different. I was exhausted, more so than usual. A brutal deadline had me running on fumes and caffeine. I leaned my forehead against the cool glass, closing my eyes for just a second. When I opened them, I stared into my own weary face. I sighed a long, drawn-out sound of pure fatigue, but the woman in the mirror didn't sigh with me. Her expression remained neutral, static. I blinked, chalking it up to my exhaustion. I was probably just seeing things. I pushed myself upright, ready to finally head to bed. As I turned, I glanced back one last time, and that's when my heart stopped. I was frowning, my lips pressed into a thin, unhappy line, but the reflection. She was smiling. It wasn't a big, toothy grin. It was a small, subtle curve of the lips. A secret, knowing smile that didn't reach her eyes. Her eyes, my eyes, were fixed on me with an intensity that felt predatory. I froze, my hand hovering over the light switch. My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. A trick of the light. A hallucination brought on by sleep deprivation. I took a hesitant step back towards the mirror, my own face a mask of confusion and growing fear. Her smile widened just a fraction. She wasn't mimicking me anymore. She was reacting to me. I ran. I didn't grab my phone. I didn't grab my keys. I just bolted out the front door and into the cold night air, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I didn't stop running until the streetlights of my neighborhood blurred into a single, continuous streak. I ended up at a 24-hour diner, huddled in a booth, nursing a cup of coffee I couldn't drink. How could I explain this? Who would believe me? Hi, my reflection is acting on its own, and I think it's evil. They'd think I was crazy. Maybe I was, but the image was seared into my brain, that cold, detached smile. It was the smile of someone who had a secret, a terrible and wonderful secret they were about to share. For the next 2 days, I lived in a state of perpetual dread. I stayed with a friend, making up a story about a plumbing issue, but I couldn't avoid my own reflection forever. Every shiny surface became a source of terror. A shop window, the screen of my phone, a puddle on the pavement. I'd catch a glimpse of myself, and for a terrifying second, I'd brace for that smile. But it never came. In every other reflection, I just saw my own frantic, sleep-deprived face staring back. Maybe I had imagined it. The stress, the exhaustion, it had to be that. I convinced myself I'd had a waking nightmare. On the third day, I decided I had to go back. I couldn't live in fear in my own home. I walked through the door, my entire body tense. The apartment was silent, just as I'd left it. The late afternoon sun streamed through the windows, making everything seem normal, harmless. And then I saw it. The hallway mirror. It stood there, silent and imposing. I took a deep breath. It was just a piece of glass and silver. Just an object. I forced myself to walk towards it, my footsteps echoing in the quiet. I stood before it, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm. I stared, and there she was. My reflection, looking exactly like me. Tired, scared. Her expression was a perfect mirror of my own. I let out a shaky breath of relief. It was over. I had imagined it all, a wave of relief so powerful it almost made me dizzy washed over me. I smiled, a genuine, relieved smile, and the reflection, she didn't. Her face remained a blank, emotionless mask. The terror came rushing back, colder and sharper this time. It wasn't a trick. It was real. I took an involuntary step back, my hand flying to my mouth. As I watched, horrified, the reflection slowly, deliberately raised her own hand, not to her mouth, but to the glass. She pressed her palm flat against the surface, right where my face had been just days before. Her expression shifted. The blankness was replaced by a look of pity, a sad, knowing pity. And then her lips moved, forming words that made no sound. But I could read them. I could read them perfectly. "I'm not yours," she mouthed, her eyes filled with a sorrow that didn't belong to me. "I'm hers." Whose? The question hung in the air between us, a silent, screaming void. And then, from behind me, down the hall, I heard a floorboard creak. I spun around, my blood turning to ice. Standing in the doorway of my bedroom, silhouetted against the light, was a figure, a woman. She looked just like me, but she wasn't me. She was wearing my clothes. Her hair was styled like mine, but her face held the exact same small, secret smile I had seen in the mirror. My gaze flickered from the smiling woman in the doorway back to the terrified face trapped in the glass. The face that looked exactly like mine, with my fear in her eyes. And in that horrifying, world-shattering moment, I finally understood. The reflection wasn't the monster. The mirror wasn't the prison. I was the reflection. All this time, I thought I was looking into a mirror, but I was looking out of one. And the woman who had bought this mirror, the woman whose life I had been mimicking every single day, had just come home. The smile on her face told me everything. Some reflections aren't yours. Sometimes you're the reflection, and you've just been replaced. What would you do if you realized you weren't the person, but the copy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This story was a wild ride, and if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales that twist the reality you think you know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there.